So that means that we cannot manage elephants in isolation from the rest of Africa and share some of the challenges that other countries like Zimbabwe and Botswana share. And those are two typical challenges. So one is around how elephants have an effect on people, and it can be both positive and negative. For example, tourists is a very positive thing, but many people that are living in the landscapes where they have got problems in how elephants impact on their livelihoods is the other end of the spectrum. So how do you trade those things off? And that's important things that we think as South Africa can learn from, as well as share some ideas with the rest of the countries in Southern Africa. The other one, which is much more pertinent, particularly to Southern Africa, where we've had high elephant numbers, is some of the ecological influences. And certainly those aspects are also aspects where South Africa has learned a few things. In addition to that, South Africa is very different than most other parts of elephants in Southern Africa. We have got one of the major differences is that across the country we do have fences. That's a big feature in the South African landscape, and a large number of our elephants are living in small isolated populations that are, it's got very strong fences and strong fences around. So there's very hard edges. And quite often these elephant populations are even amongst lots of other people around and lots of different land users. So that's a different management problem because it's small areas where elephants have to exist in. So South Africa did develop some ideas and approaches and management practices to deal with those particular problems. Like, for example, we do control elephant population growth by using contraceptives and basically put some of the cows on birth control. And that's one of the methods that South Africa developed and has got an enormous amount of experience in. And certainly we can share some of those in case anybody else has got similar kind of problems. But I think the main reality is that South Africa shares elephants with at least 3 other countries. We also share some of the challenges that those 3 countries have, and the summit like this helps us to actually overcome and think about collective approaches and how we can deal with the challenges associated with elephants.
Important proposal. In Namibia, we have been involved in communities in wildlife conservation for the last 30 years. We've got a very vibrant community-based conservation program, and this program has resulted in wildlife recoveries. We have wildlife almost in most of the areas outside of the protected areas, so which means that these communities share their living space with wildlife, sometimes with dangerous wildlife such as lions, elephants, and that sometimes they contribute actively to the conservation of these animals. So if there are decisions to be made about the future of these elephants, about the trade, then it's just important that community voice is heard and communities actively participate in this process.
Popping up in this discussion has been that communities must have a voice on the CITES forum. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, it's a given. Well, when you look at how CITES is at the moment, the very people that bear the biggest brand of living with the wildlife are not at the table. It's amazing that even governments are struggling to be at the table because unfortunately it's particularly Western NGOs that are dictating where CITES should head. So it's a real issue, and we hope to ensure that we remind everybody that CITES should benefit those people that live with the wildlife. And these are African governments, in the case of elephants, and local communities that live with these elephants.